165 in the warm up, and the shoulder blew out.
Nice.
Yeah, and the shoulder blew out on 115. Uh, which is
Man.
a so now I've been trying to get it. It's like it's really not moving past that. So the sleep, you got to do the sleeper stretch, trying to get it going. But we'll get back there. We'll get back there. So
For
let's
sure.
yeah, Phil. Let's do the official welcome. So Phillip Wilkins, welcome to Coffee and Conversations again with champions. And how many champions are you?
Won the IPF Worlds 4 times
Yeah.
for the last 4 years.
Okay, that's brilliant.
So Li- Lithuania, Kazakhstan, Austin, and obviously South Africa.
And Southern, yeah. So it's so nice that you're saying South Africa because everyone's referring to it now as Sun City. So it's like, where do you
Right.
live? I live in Sun City. Awesome. So we actually met last year at Sun City. You very kindly came onto the podcast. I think you had to come. You had to come on because you had to bully Amy into coming on as well. So
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Amy's
that
a
was
good girl. She's
yeah.
she's working hard.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we were chatting just off air about this last comp. Can we sort of chat about that on the stream now, just with what's going on with you, with the training, with the resting, with the recovery?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
This last World Championships was in Austin. It was
Hmm.
really fun, being in the States. So I had some family finally come over and be able to see a international event. Just the production value is so much higher than
Mm-hmm.
the local stuff. So that was really cool. And Austin's a really cool town. So we hung out there for another week or two
Oh, awesome.
when we were done. But I was able to bring it out. Come out with the W, but it came at a cost, though. I mean, I had a torn labrum, so
Oh,
spent the last 10 weeks. It's one of those things where the doctors tell you it's just rest, 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 rest. If it's not surgery.
yeah.
So I took 2.5 months off, and then it was like a little bit of an elbow issue. So I've been going to Dr. Shaw here in Jacksonville, and he's been getting me right. So with the chiropractic side of it, I think is really underrated in powerlifting, uh,
100%.
especially yeah,
Mm,
especially I still don't understand how some people think it's like not really a thing, but especially with the deadlifting and the squatting. I mean, it's amazing how they can just touch you like on the shoulder and they're like,
yeah.
oh, this is wrong, this is wrong,
Yeah.
this is wrong. They haven't looked at a chart or anything, and you're like, wow, like I believe all of this. But
Yeah.
and pain management too. So
Hmm.
I'm really glad that I'm going back to the chiropractor on a regular basis and getting all that done. So, but Patrick Barger and I have been hitting the gym, and we're ready to make big noise next year.
Excellent. I think just to chat about the chiropractic side, I mean, I've got a chiropractor, Dr. Simon Lawson, that I go to. Rodney Anthony, I think you met in Sun City, was one of the original powerlifting coaches in South Africa, sent me to him. And like, I can walk because of Simon. And like, I have the mobility, the range of motion. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's vital. I think the physio stuff is a lot of it soft tissue, but you got to get that structure
Right.
adjusted.
Especially when you get a little long in the tooth like
Yeah.
me. I mean, just the simple day to day, and I was having a little sciatic issue, and
Yeah,
man, I've always said there's no pain like tooth pain or back pain.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
everything
Well,
else, everything else, I feel like I can take.
yeah. Has your chiropractor pulled out that little steel pole of pain, that little rod, break down the
uh,
fascia on the back of the hamstrings there?
of course. I'm
Yeah,
going in on Monday to get the big one where they put the towel around your neck and
yeah,
do the
yeah. That,
sudden,
oh,
you know,
gunk. Yep.
oh, and set you straight. Have two tears just immediately go boom.
You feel
So
like
I'm
you want
looking
to,
forward to that.
yeah,
But
yeah. You want to get your training partner in there going, good lift.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I wish it's something that I wish I would have gotten into earlier in life.
yeah.
I mean, because as you get old and the way we were raised in our generation, it's just like just power
Yeah.
through, and then
Yeah.
just aches and pains start to add up, and it's instant relief. So it's like, geez, Louise, I could have done this 5 years ago, you know?
That's and it
So
lasts. That's the thing. It like can last.
for
Like I'm
sure.
down to six session, probably a session every 6 months. And it's just so
Right.
much easier now. Not that I'm training at your level,
Yeah.
but it's still moving the old body around. So, how's the recovery
Yeah.
been for you? Oh, so go ahead.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
was just saying the maintenance phase of it is,
mm,
I'd rather, some people mask the pain with pills
yeah,
or medication or, and, or shots or whatever.
mm,
And I just think couldn't be a bigger believer in chiropractic,
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
and what they have to offer. But
For
the
sure.
training's been going, I get lost in this funk if I don't train.
Mm-hmm.
And I start, like, I don't want to sound like everyone else, but my mental health starts to deteriorate a little
Yeah.
bit, and for some odd reason, I start not necessarily depression, but I start to get a little down on, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm very system oriented and regimented, and
Yeah.
when I fall out of that, idle hands, like so it's that 2 months off or 2.5 months off was hard for me. I would even go to the gym with Patrick and just spot him just to
Mm-hmm.
stay in that routine.
Right.
And he's my best he's my best bud too. So that's our catch up time. So so it's but that's been hard. So it's been fun to get back into it, and then you have another slight little hiccup, and
Mm,
it's easy to you see why people hang it up, when they get to my age.
mm-hmm.
And I think I got enough in the tank to make another year or two run at it, So
I
it's a
have to
real
do this
thing
for
for
that. Yeah, hang on. We got to do this one.
yeah.
That just made me
But
very
the
happy to hear that. Two more years. There's plenty more in the tank. I'm telling you that now. Yeah.
well, we'll see. Like it's funny as you get older and things start to become more
Mm,
prevalent in your life and spending time in this or traveling more and
yeah.
so the kind of people I surrounded myself with were if you're in it all the way, there's no half stepping. So
Yeah.
those are my friends, those are my lifting partners, and that's just kind of how we roll with it. So if you're not in it to win it, then what are you doing, so
Absolutely.
uh you
You're doing yourself a
you pass
disservice.
like
Yeah.
yeah, and I think the new goal this year was, I mean, obviously we'll see how the recovery goes, but was to go and open and
Mm-hmm.
really try and take a swing in there. I know not last year with Dudley, of course,
Yeah.
he's a savage, but the three previous years, with the Masters, I would have won the Open as well. So
Mm,
that's kind of no one cares, but it sticks with you,
yeah.
like you're like, I won this, you know, but
Absolutely.
you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it's sort of buying
So,
space. Yeah. How did you deal with I mean, going to the gym with your training partner and that? It's it's really difficult when you use, we all have our mental health challenges and things that we have to live with and deal with, and that are always there. And the training and the lifting is such a huge part of how we deal with it and how we build a quality of life around it. And also, I think that comes from the community. It's just getting that time in at the gym and hanging out and being part of it, being part of
absolutely.
comps and all of the. How have you dealt with that? Other than also just being able to go to the gym and spot your training partner.
It's hard. I've done a pretty good job in my life segregating, work,
Mhm.
family, and gym. And the gym has been used kind of as a combination of my me time
Yeah.
to just kind of decompress, attack the next day or figure out what
Mm.
happened this day and whatnot. But so I've done a pretty good job segregating that. And when you take that out, that's where the struggle happens for me. So I would say I almost haven't done a pretty good job with it actually. But I've got good people around me. My girlfriend Julie Johnson and
Mhm.
Urge comes over and he's got his thing going on. So you can get lost in other people's activities, but
Mhm.
after a while it kind of makes you hungry for your own, so you're
Yeah.
like, I got to get back on the saddle.
But that's such a valuable lesson and an incredible point there, because when you're on the saddle, you still have to remember to make time for other things and other people in your life. Because if you do have to take a break from
Right.
training and that's your only thing, you don't want to be stuck alone then. So it's about that balance.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The balance, because I go to a pretty hardcore gym, and it's bodybuilding. I mean, we have Mr. Olympia in '08, Dexter Jackson's in our
Oh,
town, and
wow.
he
Okay.
does
Yeah.
posing classes there, and so I mean it's pretty hardcore. They have
Mm,
strongman and stuff, but you can see how people get lost in their identity in the gym,
yeah.
and I would include myself into that because that 2 months off, I was just like, "What if this doesn't heal? Like, what do I
Mm.
do? What do I do with my time? Like this, that, and and it just kind of snowballs a little bit." And I think that's where I start to get down on myself. But yeah, I mean, to have a different, whether it be a husband, a father, just another hobby, but
Mm.
it's just been such a big part of my life for so long that I guess I'm wrapped up in that too. I wouldn't even know what to do or where to start, you know? So I'm hanging on as long as I can.
That's it. I think that again, it's like what you said with going to the Cairo, getting the work done, making sure you're committing as much to the maintenance as you do the time in the gym.
Yeah, I feel like that was never an issue for me growing up, so I feel like, you as you get older, man, if I had been doing this the whole time,
Mm,
what kind of, maybe I'd have 10 years left or 15 years left or so that, but I mean, that's life, live and learn. But as long as you get back on the saddle and do what
yeah,
you can.
that's it. So we got a comment here from Steve in South Africa. So he says, "Well done, Phil. Camaraderie is important, as well as self-awareness and self-care. Absolutely. I think,
Oh,
yeah.
appreciate that, Steve.
And poor Steve, I happen to know because I saw him this past week. He's in a sling because he tore I think his bicep off the bone completely, and so also
Oh, no.
he, yeah, but he's Steve's insane. I mean, just his numbers are absolutely nuts, and he's such a skinny guy. I
Right.
mean, his legs. I'm just teasing you. His legs must weigh about 4.5 kilos together. They're tiny, and his upper body's in the
That's so funny.
105s and his legs are in the 43s. No,
If I wasn't so short, you'd probably be saying the same thing about me, though.
listen, I'm the worst. My calves are in the 120 plus, and the rest of me, yeah. So
Right.
get yeah.
My chiropractor was actually just doing a thing for my shoulder, and he had to lift my arm up, and he's like, "Drop
Mm,
all the weight on your arm,"
yeah.
and I could feel him struggling, just trying to hold my. And he said, "Your arm is different."
That makes us very proud. So this
Right.
is, yeah, 100%. So there we go. We got a smiley and laughing face from Steve. I think that's the fun thing
I
about the
love it.
sport. Yeah, we can make fun of ourselves. It's great. So yeah, built definitely built different. On the subject of sort of, if you had known earlier on, let me just give you an example from myself. So I've lived with injuries my whole life. So got scoliosis, I've got Schroman's disease, I had a compression at L4, L5. Uh, and then very early on, because I was involved in martial arts my whole life, torn transverse lateral, C4, C5 issue, shoulder dislocations.
Ooh,
And this was all, kind of early on in life. So it's not always as much fun because you're doing the
right.
chiropractic stuff and everything that's necessary, and you understand that, but yeah, you're still dealing with a lot of pain. I mean, my last injury was a torn transverse lateral ligament in my left ankle, and that's what got me into powerlifting full time. It's like I can't keep getting out of bed in pain every day. So yeah, you
Yeah.
will be surprised by how your body adapts and recovers in
Right.
terms of giving you that longevity.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm pretty blessed to have not had any ever
Mm,
since Iraq. I've never had any
yeah.
true major uh, past hiccups, and I'm actually really grateful because there's a big age variance And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, with your buddy with the uh, torn pec,
Yeah.
there's people that are only 10 plus years older than me, and a torn pec when they got it back in the 80s,
Yeah.
man, they took the bicep, literally brought it over and just sewed it to the pec. Whereas if that had happened maybe 5 to 7 years later, it's a simple fit. Well, I don't know, simple, but it's
Yeah.
fixable, and you're back and running inside of a year. So I've been blessed in that aspect to in the time of powerlifting and not to have those major injuries. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
super super down with that self care now. So
Yeah.
I need to be able to hold the grandbabies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, listen, we're looking, and they're going to be genetically pretty big, so you're
Right.
going to be a good lift.
I
Yeah,
don't know about tall.
yeah,
They'll be pretty wide, but I don't know about
yeah.
tall.
No, so wide is the only thing that matters. And this is someone speaking to you who has cousins all close to 7 foot, and 6'3", 6'4", and up to 7 foot. So
Wow.
yeah,
There you
so
go.
they're all
Wow.
wide counts. Wide is what's important. Yeah.
Right.
Although
So how are
when
things for you? How are things
yeah,
going in South Africa?
it's awesome. Like, we're really honored to be able. We're live streaming the Commonwealth Champs and the World Masters. It's going to be epic.
That's
Um, it's over 1,000 lifters in one competition. Well,
nice.
it's because we're running the two platforms simultaneously. Hani always he
Right.
puts on a great comp. There's going to be 14 warm up
Absolutely.
platforms, and
Whew.
so, like, I mean, that's just a dream on its own. And
Yeah, that's
four yeah, there's going to be an athlete gym with 4 platforms there and gear to train, so there's no one interfering with anyone else. So it's going to be good. Yeah, things are going well. So also my shoulder, letting it rest up a bit. Got Africa champs in a couple of
right.
weeks time, about 10 days after Sun City. So I'll just go out and I'll see what happens, just have some fun with it.
Right.
And I got
That's
bullied.
fantastic.
Yeah, I got bullied this year
Uh,
into competing, so it's, well, okay.
oh,
Listen, yeah, because, like,
you
I
know,
wasn't planning. Mm. Sorry, go ahead.
I've been I've been keeping up with South Africa. I talk to Tom's parents every Sunday. Tom
Okay,
Vivigi,
yeah, yeah,
and so we had a great time and stayed with them last time we were in
yeah.
Joburg, and I even have pictures of him and his family up hanging in my house here. Like,
Oh, that's
so we
epic.
we try and make time with each other and
Yeah,
talk with him, his wife, and his family, and so
yeah.
I'm looking forward to maybe in the next year or so skipping back over to
Coming
South
out.
Africa and visiting
Yeah.
my friends. Yeah.
That's going to be epic. Just on that point, you've got a lot of time in the community. You've been involved with sort of different sport activities. What makes the powerlifting community so special for you?
Um, I've thought about that before, and I think it's an
Mm,
individual sport that you do as a team,
mm-hmm.
and I think that allows people to root for you, even though they're not vested in you, or or maybe not on your team.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone's personal goals, people respect those, and it doesn't have to be world record weight, but it's better than I did last comp or better than I did
Yeah.
last year, or and I think genuinely, people that really take it serious know how hard and the dedication
Sure.
to add drop weight
Mm-hmm.
and really hit those numbers. And I think everyone truly respects how hard that really is. So I think people genuinely root for you.
Mm. Awesome.
Um, so the community itself I fell in love with right away. The U.S. is kind of like a little more individual, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started going to international,
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it politely,
Yeah.
but when I started going to international competitions, I saw that the team unity was everyone showed up for everyone's lifts,
Yeah.
and it didn't, and it, true support, not just out of friendship, but they were like,
Mm.
yeah, and obviously, America's going through its turmoil right now and it's pretty divided, but I get jealous when I go and I see, the French team or,
Mm.
Hungary or
Yeah. The
you know,
Japanese at
and those
bench,
guys,
yeah.
yeah, the
Mm,
Japanese,
yeah.
yeah, and I mean, they're if they're not hanging together, they're at an event together. If they're not at
Mm,
an event together, you know, they're in packs the whole week, you know, and it's like, oh man, and I don't feel like the U.S. team necessarily. I know it's a new team with USAPL and Powerlifting
mhm,
America
mm,
splitting ways. So there's there's not that mainstay of it's kind of like spit and glue until fake it till you make it kind of thing.
mhm,
But I just I really got I don't know if it's a regional thing or if it's a country thing, but I got really jealous, honestly, when I and the Canadians, you know,
yeah,
I
the
don't know
can
why.
yeah,
They're like my favorite team to hang out with.
yeah.
So I actually look forward to I'm playing fantasy football with them, some of them right now.
Oh, cool.
So I look forward to I mean, we talk all year, and I look forward
Mm,
to seeing them, and we're invested in each other's lives, and
yeah.
I think it's really, really, really cool the bond that you can build over a like activity like powerlifting. You know.
Absolutely. That's, nail on the head. I mean, I was just chatting to Angel Vandenberg and then also to a new young lifter, Claude Guimont. He's coming out for the first time, Canadians. I was just saying to them, like, I have to be honest, I love all the teams. Don't want to be biased, but hanging out with the Canadians is something very, very
Oh,
special.
so fun,
Just
so
by
fun,
yeah,
so
just
fun.
yeah, by the pool at the Cascades, they had it was like the Canadian
Yeah,
corner. It was an absolute blast.
yeah.
So, yeah, Brian making
It's
us all
funny how
look
some
fat. So,
it's funny how some stereotypes are just absolutely correct. You know,
yeah,
every Canadian, oh, hey, buddy, how you doing? You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just so nice, so taken
So
back.
nice,
I
absolutely.
love each and every one of them for sure.
Yeah, on the point of sort of with the powerlifting in the US splitting and sort of the challenges that are there right now, I think if you were talking to some of the younger US lifters, the guys coming into the sport now, what would you tell them is the value of what you've seen around the world in the other communities where it is team, everyone's there to support one another, it's genuine, it's to the core. What's the benefit of
Man,
that?
that's a fantastic question. Um, and if I ever get the answer, no, I truly I think
You can't do that while I'm
especially
taking a
for the
sip of
younger,
coffee. Sorry, Phil. You can-
right?
Yep.
Especially with the younger generation, I have an 18-year-old.
Mm,
It's turned into a little bit more of a online society,
yeah.
and you know whether it be communication or just way of doing business. And I feel like relationships have gotten lost in the sense of the just face to face, a handshake,
Hmm.
you know, that human to human
Yeah.
contact. And uh, I think the bond that you build with someone working at a like goal on like goals together, I feel like it's gotten lost maybe in the last couple of years, just because I mean you can work from home, you can do
Hmm.
everything online, and you know, and not that that's a bad thing. I just feel like there's some things missed in this generation where that's where real bonds are made, you know, and it's when you're both, you know, metal to the grindstone and just trying to tough something out. And um, I would say, you know, like a training partner is, I don't want to say absolutely vital because I worked out by myself for a long time, but
Mm,
man, when someone's doing it with you, um, a third person always wants to join eventually.
yeah.
And then, you know, then it's like, hey, what are those three guys doing over there? And then, you know, and you can build your own little rat pack. And
Yeah.
I think that's a different way um, of communicating and progressing towards a goal than this digital age we live in now. So you know, just that human to human contact and working for a like goal, I feel like not only is a little bit missed, but it's probably regressed a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would urge, you know, get people around you with like minds and in a positive direction, obviously,
Hmm. Absolutely.
uh, and uh, and you really feel like you really see. A bond that happens that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. You know, I mean,
Right.
some of my best friends I've met at the gym, and I mean, actually, my best friend Patrick. I mean, I met
Yeah.
at the gym, and it's been life changing for me. So I can't imagine if if I got my buddy at 25 as opposed to 40 years old. So how different my life would have been. So
Sure.
really, just the unity that you build, strength in
Mm.
numbers, kind of thing.
So, and I think the opportunity to experience a team and a community, and you build bonds that are going to support you forever. The online is great; it has its place, but find a gym, find a coach, and I think also online can be very destructive because you don't. It's very different when you're loading the weights for someone to see what they're lifting versus what they're posting on
Absolutely.
social media, and how they're feeling and all of the stuff that goes with that.
Absolutely. I do coaching,
Mm,
and I really cut the kids that I coach a big break, from what I charge and whatnot,
mm,
because
mm,
I am so, I don't want to say enamored. I'm so, I understand what it's like to be young and
mm.
not have two nickels to rub together. And so it's really not about the money for me. And if they're in it and they're sending me their videos, I mean, honestly, I do it for free. But
Yeah.
but you're right. They have to send me their workouts and this and
Mm,
that, and I have to tell you, oh, try from this angle. Oh, next week move it over here. But when you're
mm, mm.
boots on the ground, it's like, nope, right there. You need to move your shoulder over here, your bar
Yeah.
path here.
Yeah.
So there's things that obviously you can pick up a lot faster.
Mm.
Um, you know, doing as a team or
I
at
think.
least having a partner.
Yeah. So, and also what I meant with the point, and your point is 100% on, is you don't where you're following individuals that are claiming to post numbers that may not be 100% accurate, and then you're beating yourself
Yeah,
up, or you're taking risks in the gym trying to chase those numbers. One more comment from Steve. He's saying, "Here, here, very well said." So, absolutely, talk about the
yeah, I
community.
appreciate
That's very, very cool. Yeah, he's been a huge supporter of this podcast, so we really do
it. Oh man, that's
appreciate him.
fantastic.
That's it. Yeah. So I think what the powerlifting community can give us, and I want to chat to you about the mental health side of it, is what we're lacking so much in real life, so much with the online, being on our mobiles, being disconnected from real conversations. In powerlifting, you bump into someone that you haven't seen in 2 to 3 years since another comp, and like you reconnect and you're getting time in together. It's the most wonderful thing to do, and it's the really wonderful, safe place to be, part of the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a love hate thing with me because with social media, I use mine as a journal.
Mm-hmm.
I post my lifts and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I don't take pictures of food and all that stuff, but but I also use it as a way to connect with my friends on their lifts and
Mm-hmm.
be able to
Mm.
support them or leave a comment and kind of spy on some people
Yeah.
who might fall into your delusion. It's like, oh man, I got to
Uh,
pick my game up. So,
yeah.
but that's the love part of it. The hate part of it is exactly what you said, and
Mm,
especially when it comes down to other strength sports like strongman or
mm,
bodybuilding, and there's so many ways to cut corners. There's so many, I don't want to say
yeah.
filters or filters of life, or maybe
Mm,
things
mm,
that aren't really what they present themselves to be. And
yes.
I think that deters and distracts a lot of people and even brings people down that they're not at this point or this or
Yes.
that. And so
100%.
there's a lot of noise on social media, and I try and use it for good, but I can see how easy it is to slip into the other side
Mm,
and be like, man, why am I even trying? This guy's already doing this. I'd have to drop 20 pounds to go to this division. Oh man, I'm not even going to do any of it. What's the point?
yeah.
So that's why your mental health really needs to be in a good spot about what you want to achieve personally. And that's why I do like the individual side of it, because at the end of the day, it really is just you versus you. No
Mm,
one's on that platform other than the spotters except you. So
yeah.
you either did the work or you didn't. And as long as you can be better than you were yesterday and all the cliches, but they're really true, and I think it's easy for especially the youth coming up to get lost in just self improvement.
Hmm.
Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, I just tackle this next competition's this. work backwards. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And then, hit speed bumps. I mean, it's not all, roses and, candy and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Uh, you have to be able to take failure and speed bumps. And I've watched it break many, many, many people. And they're like, nope, this isn't for me. But
Mm.
it's like, what's worth doing if it's easy,
Yeah.
So it's like, you ought to be able to take it, learn what I mess up on. All right, I'm going to do that again. Let's go. So that's really why I think coaches, especially for the youth, you don't have to have a coach your whole time,
Mm.
but especially if you're getting into that intermediate to like, I think I'm getting pretty good at this, in that level. If you can grab a coach for like 2 or 3 years, and I mean, just soak everything that I mean, the right coach,
Mm.
obviously,
Mhm.
but soak all that knowledge. I feel like you can fast forward, 7+ years of knowledge where,
Yeah.
back in the day, I had to go to the grocery stores and my mom would shop and I'd try and read the muscle mags real quick and memorize and write down the workouts and
Yeah.
so I feel like
Great.
there's so much knowledge to be shared,
Mm.
and um, I feel like it's a good way to really bring people together.
And I think the value of the coach with the on versus the online, or even an online coach, there's so much information available online, it becomes overwhelming for new lifters, for young lifters. They don't know what to believe and what to follow.
Yeah, and that's another thing with the noise.
Mm.
But that's what therein lies the trust. I found that a lot of people, because everyone I coach isn't for powerlifting. Some is for weight loss, some is
Okay.
for bodybuilding, some is
Hmm.
for athletic sports. Um, and It's really that sense of accountability. I have them send certain lifts and I change it up, and just to keep that accountability, because
Yeah.
it's easy to blow off a workout, and the way workouts are set up, and every day means something. So if you skip one and just try and do it the next day, well, it log jams you over here, or
Hmm. Mm.
I'll
Mm.
just work out on the weekend. Well, now you're not fresh for Monday, and so I mean that level of accountability, um, and then, it only takes 2 weeks to form a habit. So, once that
Yeah.
accountability starts rolling and you don't need, and I trust you enough, you don't have to send me it every day. I believe you, like we're in it to win it now.
That's a,
So that
uh,
accountability factor is important.
do you have some fun stuff for your clients who maybe miss workouts when they shouldn't? Any sort of revenge or revenge sessions?
No, not at all. Actually, I tell you, like, I end up becoming very, very good friends with all my clients, and we
Yeah.
keep in touch even outside of,
Mm.
when it's time to move on. And I tell them in the beginning that um, there's only so much a certain coach has, even in boxing and MMA,
Mm.
and
Mm. Mm.
you just soak in all that knowledge, and if you feel that's up, no hard feelings, on to the next guy.
Yeah.
Like I've had to do that with coaches, and you build this bond where it's really hard to say, "Hey, man, it's time for me to move on." And so I put it out front like that. But if that's the case, they really just hit me up and say, "Hey, I mean, we're on a day-to-day
Mm.
um, relationship where I talk to almost all of them at least once a day.
Sure. That's
Maybe via
phenomenal.
text,
Yeah. Yeah.
but once a week via
Cool.
FaceTime.
Sure.
So
Are you
yeah,
taking
even
on
in
more
the
clients, or are you sort of at
you
capacity?
know I'm at capacity because I want this still to be fun for me, and
Yeah.
I don't want it to turn into a job. And honestly, after the only reason I did it after the last couple worlds, everyone was coming up, "Hey,
Mm.
can you
Mm.
train
Mm.
this, that,
Mm.
and the other?" And I kept pushing them to other people. Well, then, I mean, after a while, you like start to do the math, and you're like, "Holy moly!" Like,
Exactly.
so this last one, I made it up, and I found that right around like 12 my number,
Mm.
like
Mm.
I don't really want to, and because it's eked up to like 16, 18, and it was like, man, Sunday's gone now because I FaceTime with everybody for about 15, 20 minutes. And,
Right.
so uh, um, and I never wanted to be like, all right, let me call this
Yeah.
guy, like
Hmm.
I really want the, and my girlfriend, of course, she loves me, but she's really, every time I get off the phone, she's like, wow, like you can tell like how invested you are with these people and how much, this is fun for you. and so it works out really well. So I found about like 10, 12 is my number.
Sure. Okay. Awesome. So, I'm quite sure some people are going to be watching this and going, "I'm going to DM you." So, yeah, we take no responsibility for that. How have
Oh, that's not a problem.
yeah, have you found the powerlifting for your own mental health and helping you just cope with the day to day stuff and the grind and having to deal with what you have to deal with?
Man, I mean, everyone's got their own thing. Mine is obviously powerlifting, but um, I'd say it bleeds into other aspects of your life. Like you have to finish. Well, I mean, finish what you start. Like set
Hmm.
goals. Small goals turn into big goals, and be regimented. Be on time. Like all these things start to bleed into whether it be your personal or private life, and you don't even see it happening because it just started. It just starts to slowly shape you as a person. And
Hmm.
maybe you are punctual because you're meeting someone every day at 5:30 at the gym, so you don't want to be keep that person waiting. Or maybe you need to be more regimented with your supplements, so you put them here, here, and here. I have dry erase boards all around the house, just
Yeah.
like so with my mental health, the structure alone is
Hmm.
probably what I need. I'm a little more of a wild child, and I tend to go off the deep end if I have idle hands.
Hmm.
So, but knowing that, and excuse me, that's partly one of the reasons why I put my workout days on Fridays and Sundays. I count those to keep me accountable on Friday night
Yeah.
and Saturday night.
Right.
So but I know me and I know what will work for me. It's not for everybody,
Hmm.
but that's just the workout bleeding into my private life right there, where it
Right.
holds me accountable, and I know to give 100%, I can't be hungover or stay up too
Hmm.
late or you know watch that extra episode on Netflix or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, sure. I've been sober for nearly 18 years. October 23rd is going to be 18 years. And I had to give up television as one of the things. You talk about Netflix because I stopped watching TV, and
yeah,
then about 5 years into sobriety, a friend of mine gave me a big screen TV. So I thought, hey, this will be fun. And within 2 weeks, it was seven
right.
hours a night of television. So I gave it away because
Oh, wow.
yeah, it stops you
Yeah,
from being accountable. So absolutely. Again, Steve, just for what you
right.
shared, Steve's leaving another comment here. Great response. So Steve,
Well,
Steve's
appreciate it.
having a good time. Yeah, absolutely. And because we just regimented, and we were chatting with a UK lifter earlier. I'm still trying to figure out the British, Great Britain, uh, all of Ireland, Northern Ireland, all of their structures up there. So with Emily, and she was just saying that for her, she loves the structure because the structure frees up mental energy. That it having things in your life that are regimented means you don't have to think, and that really can add to our quality of
Mhm.
life.
Right.
So absolutely. So the future, what can we chat about?
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I think we had a bit of a delay there.
Oh,
Sorry, you go
sorry. I
ahead.
think there's a little delay
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, please.
The future. I mean, like, really,
Mm,
it's been fun to think I'm getting back on track because for a while there I was getting pretty down on myself.
mm,
Like, this is it. Oh my God, like, and I think I love the sport so much that even if I wasn't competing, I would still go to the international IPF competitions because those are the kind of friendships I've made, and I love seeing all those people in one place, and it's more than just being on the platform to me. But
mhm.
in the future, man, it's just nationals and make a run at it for worlds again. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. Hopefully, my buddy Tom Vivaji in South
Mhm.
Africa can make it to this worlds, and yeah, we'll go ahead and take a stab at the Open. Hopefully, if all goes well.
Absolutely. One of I had a wonderful therapist that I saw that helped me deal with a lot of stuff, also within recovery, how I was feeling about myself. And one day we were talking, and I said to her, I'm really concerned about getting old because I'm not married, I don't have kids of my own. And, who's going to look after me when I'm old if I can't look after myself? And she looked me straight in the eye and she said, "What makes you think you're going to get old?" She says, "You could
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you could be hit by a bus tomorrow. What are you worrying about that?" I think that the same thing is like, don't worry about another 2 year career. We're focusing on now and putting the energy into that because we never know. Could be 2 years, could be 20 years, it could be whatever. And it's something that really helped me.
I couldn't agree more. I actually in my son's room downstairs for his birthday, when they're 18, you run out of you start doubling up on gifts,
Yeah.
you're like but so I try and get really thoughtful on his presents, and this last one I got him, it's a chart of weeks of your life, and it's
Oh,
got
wow.
every year, and you every week you just put a dot on it and cross one off, and it's got so you can really see, and it goes all the way up to 80 years old.
Mm,
And it's like, man, you take out, and then we go to Google and we take out how many hours for sleeping, how many hours for working, how many hours for commuting, how many hours for personal hygiene, how many, or weeks, I'm sorry.
mm, mm.
And when you take out some of the basics, you're really only left with a window of set amount of time
Yeah.
to achieve what you want to achieve. And so you're absolutely right. So, and that's contrasting what you're saying about tomorrow and everything, but like live every day for its day. But I'm agreeing with you in the sense that there's only a small window of time if you do, even if you do look at it that way,
Yeah.
that we're on this earth, man. So if you want something, you got to go get it now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I think I feel that way is that I just really, 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 really couldn't stress enough on how much time gets wasted on mundane things, especially in today's day and age. I
Yes,
caught myself
absolutely.
on Instagram for like an hour and a half yesterday. I was like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" Like I got out, when I put the phone down and I was
Yeah.
like, "Man, I just wasted 90 minutes of my life right there."
And
So,
yeah, and
yeah,
it's
it's easy to get
designed to
lost with
do
all the
that,
noise.
right?
So,
Yeah.
I
You know,
think
yeah, they're
oh, for
designed to
sure.
keep us engaged.
100%.
Yeah, crazy. So, is there anything from your
100%.
side that you would
I
like? Sorry, there's just the delay. I'm going to keep quiet.
Oh, no, 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 you
Yeah.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. Cool. No. So, anything from your side that you would like to share? Any sort of advice or sentiments that you feel would be appropriate for those listening?
More on direction. The
Mm,
earlier you can I mean, it's what I try and tell my son, so it's probably redundant for him, but the earliest or the as early as possible,
mm,
if you can get that direction and harness that energy and whatever you want, if whether it be grades, specific job, title, or whatever it is to each individual, and then focus on that and really cut out the noise.
mm-hmm.
I I struggle watching the kids now just bumble around, and it's lost time to me. And every dad or every adult at some point says, "Man, if I was 18 again,
Sure.
or if I
Yeah.
had a time machine," and it's like, whoo, I don't even need to know what I know now. It's like I would have probably focused a little more on this, and that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't important at the time. I thought that was so important. So I really think powerlifting helps in that because it's goal oriented. It's small goals turning into big goals, and whatever the case, whatever you want to happen, I think that's really the step to make any accomplish anything. I mean, so I really wish, especially the young kids. It's crazy when they're focused and dialed in, and then other kids are like,
Yeah.
"Man, I'll never get there." You're like, "That guy's only been doing this for 2 years."
Yeah.
Like,
So
so
true.
it's not instant gratification and everything that it's meant to be in 2024. It's me, 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 now, now, now. And so I would really encourage kids to just find what it is that makes them tick and then go for it, like with your all. Because regret and wasted talent is a hard pill to swallow later in life.
Absolutely. And there's nothing you can do about it back then. And go looking forward. What one last
Mhm.
thing? So we got another comments from Steve. Preach it, Phil. So loving it, Steve.
Put my dad hat on.
Yeah, 100%. No, and you're doing great with that. Speaking to some of the older guys, so like guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe who missed that opportunity in high school or in college or earlier in life because they weren't committing to the sport. Maybe they were living a little bit carefree and so on. Why would powerlifting be a good sport for them to getting started in?
I mean, where to begin? The ultimately, I mean, the health. I mean,
Mm,
just getting in the routine to going to the gym and taking care of your body, especially if you weren't doing it before. I mean, just it doesn't necessarily always have to be powerlifting per se, but you can get into the gym and then be like, "Hey, I want to take a stab at this," or whatever the case may be.
mm,
But powerlifting in general, the community. I mean, you're going to meet people you would have never met otherwise, and the positivity. It's such a negative world we live in now. I mean, you turn on the TV, you listen to the radio, it's just bombarding with
mm-hmm,
just I don't even know how the kids do it now. Really, I don't even know if I could make it now. It's just always negative chatter. And when you get into these powerlifting events, outside of there being a language barrier sometimes, it is nothing but positivity. They're like, "How'd you do this? Oh, that's great. Do this. Oh, how are the kids? Blah blah blah." And it's infectious, and it makes you want to be a more positive person and be a better influence on others that surround you,
mm-hmm.
or that are surrounded by you. And I think you can never be around too many positive people. And if
Yeah,
you're around powerlifters, I bet dollars to donuts, you're going to be around good, positive, like-minded people. And I think that's rare in today's day and age. So any day, I saw a 78-year-old guy deadlift, man, what was it, like 130 kilos? And I mean, the guy was
what?
skin and bone, but he was
Yeah,
out there doing it, and I know what my grandpa looked like at 69 with
mm-hmm.
cirrhosis of the liver,
Mm,
and it's like, wow, this guy's doing this over here, and this guy, had been
mm,
dead for 9 years over here, and it's
sure.
like, man, like they say the number one killer is retirement.
Yep.
So I mean, like, just having that something to look forward to, and building those bonds, I think I couldn't recommend it higher, for especially if you're getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah. So all of those baby boomers that are sort of hitting retirement or in retirement, get to the gym, get involved in the community, pick up some weights, have some fun.
Absolutely,
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Phil, thank you.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah. I always,
absolutely.
yeah.
That
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, next time I see you on, I got my three-piece up in the closet there. I'll dress accordingly. I feel so underdressed. You look
No.
fantastic.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Just for me, this is fun. It's like I love putting a suit on. Also, it's a little bit sneaky because with my ADHD and terrible memory, at least I know who. Because usually it's me on the front screen on the YouTube video, so at least I know which one it is. We can chop and
Oh,
change
that's a good
everything slightly. So
touche,
that's it. I recognize the tie,
touche.
the jacket, the pocket square makes it fun. So, but also like our sport deserves it. Like I got to get dressed up for you guys. I'm speaking to the champions, and whether it's four times world. Oh, geez, lost the one camera there. That happened again. Let me switch over here and bring you back on. Four times world champion, or a mom lifting to keep herself sane. It's the best sport that's out there, really, and I love it. And it's an honor.
Absolutely,
It's such an honor to chat to you and to hang out and spend time, and just what you have to share is invaluable and it's life changing for those who are going to listen to it. And I know that for a fact.
man.
Also, it's an
Oh, I
honor and a
appreciate
privilege.
it, man. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward
Yeah.
to being in South Africa, and definitely having a chat with you on a podcast again,
Again,
brother.
absolutely, and we will do that soon. I hope everything goes well with the roof. Sorry about the tree that fell down.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of
So,
those things, man.
yeah,
But
that, yeah.
I appreciate you.
Likewise, appreciate you too. And Steve says another great interview. Thank you, Phil, and good luck. So thank you, Steve. So absolutely, thank you so much for your time, Phil. We look forward to chatting to you again soon. Take care.
Have a good one. Be
You
easy,
too.
brother.
Cheers. Peace, my brother. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, what a fantastic interview there. 4 times world champion, multiple record holder, Phillip Wilkins. And we chatted to him in South Africa last year at World Bench. And just a really incredible individual. Great advice, great counsel. Speaking as a coach, as a dad, and a world champion, what more could you ask for? Thank you for hanging out with us for this episode of Coffee and Conversation with Champions, the powerlifting edition for Emmet Media. I am Nicholas Ingle, and we'll be back with Yumi from Canada in the next 2 minutes. So we're going to hang out for him. I hope he's not going to be late. His training mate and travel buddy, Claude, who's also coming out with him to South Africa, said he may have forgotten, but we did get a thumbs up on Messenger. So let's see how that goes. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys shortly. Stay close to YouTube for the links, and we'll be up as soon as possible. And remember, like, subscribe, the usual stuff. Follow Emmet Media and Emmet Media Extra. We're going to be streaming the Masters to Emmet Media Extra and the Commonwealth to Emmet Media. And of course, on Instagram, give us a follow for the short versions of these videos. Thank you all.